What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are on our final preparations to prepare the Hyper for the track, which is gonna be next weekend. So currently I'm changing out the tires. We're gonna put some Michelins on the bike. So this one is a Power Cup 2, which will go on the front, and we've already replaced the rear with some Michelin Power RS. These are great sticky tires, and they're also road legal, which is very important because we are gonna drive the bike directly to the track. We're not gonna transport it. And having said that, it's gonna be quite a tough journey for the bike because we're going to from Malta to Sicily near Agrigento. So we're gonna have to catch a ferry, and then we're gonna have to drive over 200 kilometers to arrive to the track. So the bike must be very reliable. So I'm checking everything over again, like fluid, spark plug, and all that stuff. And last but not least, we're gonna add some more protection to the bike. So we've got some engine covers, we've got an exhaust guard, we've also got some spindles for the front forks. We've got the spindles already installed on the bike because it is currently on the paddock stand. So first off, what I'm gonna do is load up the tires on my scooter, go to the tire shop, and get the new power cup mounted on the front wheel. Okay, so I've just returned from the tire shop, but unfortunately, we found a slight bend in the rim when we removed the old tire. So we've decided to leave the wheel at the shop, and he's gonna repair it for me. It should be ready in 2 days. So we're just gonna have to leave the Hypermotard jacked up right now, and we can focus on installing other stuff such as the engine guards and other small stuff. So let's focus on unpacking the engine guards right now, and we'll start installing them. So now we have to replace the coils. I have these brand new coils from Donen. I bought them from AliExpress just because the current ones on the Hypermotard, they had a recall on them because they can fry up the ECU. Um, it's good to note that if you have Beru coils, just as I do, they have a chance to fry your ECU, send some voltage spike. So yeah, it's very good recommendation to change them. So that's what I'm gonna do. You can also use Eldor coils, which are from other Ducatis or Aprilias. They should work also the same, but I opted for brand new ones from Donin. We'll also be replacing the NGK spark plugs on this bike, which are MAR9AJ. Now, to do this job, it's quite simple and hard. So the front cylinder is obviously quite accessible. There's nothing blocking it. So we just undo that Allen bolt, remove coil and spark plug, and just refit everything. That's totally fine. But for the horizontal cylinder, we are gonna have to dismantle even the fuel tank to access everything which is located here, just because it is blocked by the fuel tank. So this is gonna be quite a job. We have to remove these two side panels and the tank itself. So just before we start, I just wanted to show you guys the new coils, the Donen coils. So they look insanely premium actually, and really good quality. Will also fit directly to our plug, which is the 3-pin plug. I will show you guys once I remove the ones currently installed, and we can also compare that. So let's start removing the horizontal cylinder first, because it's the easiest one. Now to remove the spark plug, I'm going to use this tool which Ducati provided, which is usually located in the toolbox under the seat. I'm using this because it has to have a very thin wall, and my other tools, which are these ones, the usual ones that I use, they won't fit because they have a thicker wall, so they won't go into the cylinder. So now all that is left is to trace the wire of the coil, which will go just right here under this frame tube. The plug is sitting here. So we've got everything on the bench now. So this is the old coil. So this is the model number of the old coil. As I told you, it's a Beru model, and these wires can be faulty and burn up your ECU. So take note of this model and brand and check if yours are the same. If yes, I would recommend you to change these coils. And this is the newer coil, and it looks exactly identical to the old one. We can also see the plugs. It's a 3-pin plug, same color coding and same connector also as the old one. And on the new one we also got the part number, which is 3801045B. And this is the spark plug that we have removed, and I just noticed that this one is an NGK MRA10A. So this bike should have 9A, so this bike was running colder plugs for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I will be installing the ones that are specified in the manual, which are the 9AJ. So next up, I'm gonna start removing the fairings and the tank. So there's a couple of bolts here on the sides, on each end. I need to also remove the indicators because they hold down the fairing to the radiator bracket. And yeah, I will remove any bolt that I see along the way, and hopefully the fairing comes undone. So most of the parts are off. We've got both fairings off. We've got some trims and also the top cover of the tank, which is off. Now the tank is fully exposed. I've put the cover back on so nothing goes into the fuel, debris or anything like that. And lastly, all we need to do is unhook the fuel pump and remove this bracket here, which is just 4 Allen bolts, 2 on each side. Now to remove the fuel pump, we're gonna go under the bike, and there is this huge box popping out, and that is basically the fuel pump which sits right under the tank. Now we're gonna remove this cover and remove the cabling and piping that goes into the fuel pump. Pretty simple. You just unplug the power plug. So we've got the pump disconnected, and I've also removed this bracket. It was just for Allen bolts. And now the trick should be to lift the tank from the rear side and pull it to the back so it slides off its mounts, which are these two rubber mounts right here. So as you can see, the tank is kind of hooking into it, so we need to push it back. Wow, what an insane job that was. So we finally removed the tank and we have everything exposed now. So we've got the coil and spark plug, and while we're also here, we're gonna do the air filter, which sits right in this little bump here. So we're gonna replace that spark plug and coil and reassemble everything back together. But also while I'm here, I'm gonna inspect everything, you know, like lubricate the seat opening part, and clean up everything while I'm here, because obviously I'm not gonna be removing the tank for a long while, so it's good to inspect everything. So yeah, let's start removing the air filter, coil and spark plug. So first off, we're gonna replace the air filter, and we're gonna use T20 Torx to remove these bolts. And now hopefully we can lift off the air filter. And to remove it, we are gonna undo this little, I guess it's a lock nut to hold the filter into place. So we've got the old air filter out, and it looks absolutely disgusting. It's very dirty, especially on the inside. So let's remove the filter from the bracket itself. Oh, and what is that? That just fell off right in from the filter. Yeah, the inside of the filter is absolutely filled with dust. So good thing that we are replacing it. So we're just gonna clean off this little bracket, mount up the new filter. So I think these filters, they have both ends the same, so the orientation doesn't really matter. And we're just gonna put the new one back on the bracket and back on the bike. So now we are moving on to the ignition coil and spark plug. And there we have our vertical cylinder spark plug removed. Now to fully remove the coil, I need some cutters to cut these cable ties here. And the ignition coil plug is located here right near the ECU.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy, and silently, it could build and build until you finally see, whoa, it's taking over, damn no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all their shoulders, like moving boulders just to get out of the home. It sucks, I've had enough, I don't wanna feel the stuck under the rug, all my problems that I shove. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't.
So we have successfully put on the air filter and it's now locked in place. I put on the bar again. We have changed the spark plug and coil of the vertical cylinder. I routed the cable as it was before and redid the cable ties. We plugged it in into its socket. And that's pretty much our job done here. I've also cleaned up a bit the dust that there was here. Also lubed up the locking mechanism of the seat while everything is exposed. It's a good idea to do that. And we are actually finally ready now, so we're just gonna put everything back together in reverse order how we removed it. But firstly, what I'm gonna do is loosely put on the tank, connect it, and start up the bike to make sure that the coils and the spark plugs obviously are working properly. So I've put the tank into place and connected the fuel pump, power and fuel pipe, and now we are gonna try and start the bike and see if everything works. So now that we have confirmed that everything works, we're just gonna assemble everything back together. Meanwhile, I've also gotten the front wheel back with the new power cap to fit it, so we can fully assemble the bike now.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight sucks when you finally feel like giving up. Oh God, no luck. Everything feels like you're sticky stuck. I'm lost, handcuffed to the bed where I sleep. Don't give a fuck. Can't stop, unplug. Feeling overwhelmed. I think I've had enough. Gotta find a way to get some energy. Gotta find someone who's a good friend of me. I need purpose to make it all worth it. I'm still searching and I'm still learning. I want a life that's filled with memories, not a life with regret in front of me. I need focus to keep me from hopeless psychosis if I keep moping. I got nightmares in my head. I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head. I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough.
And that's a wrap. We have finally finished assembling everything back together on the Hypermotard. So we've put some Michelin tires front and back, which look absolutely amazing on this bike. So we have the Power Cup 2 on the front and Michelin Power RS on the back. We have also replaced both spark plugs and coils. We obviously had to remove all of the stuff, the tank, covers, fairing, seat, and everything in between. And we've also replaced the air filter, which sits right here under the tank when we removed all of these parts. So it was quite a long and tough job to do that, but we eventually managed. So yeah, hopefully the bike is now ready for the track, which is gonna be this weekend. I will do just a few more small test runs around the block to make sure that everything is working properly. And yeah, maybe we'll do a video of the track, you know, with what happens. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. I hope this helps you, especially with replacing the vertical cylinder, spark plug, coil, and also our filter, because you need to remove all the stuff, which can be quite complicated. So yeah, guys, I will see you the next time. See ya.